Salut pour tous et soyez les bienvenus dans le programme Planète Équitable avec Ed Zanetti. We are talking about corporate ESG and the role of the CSO, the corporate environmental social governance programs and the role of the corporate sustainability officer. We talked about private and public policies. We talked about investors, how they look at this, and the aversion they have to risks. We talk about the risks, and among those risks, we talk about the risk of greenwashing and the 4 types of greenwashing: use false information, use vague information or vague statements, use statements that doesn't have any support from the technical, scientific point of view, and finally, trying to associate your business or your corporate to some social environmental activity that it really doesn't have nothing to do with its business. Well, those are the risks. And when we leave the risks behind, we understand that, we start looking at the opportunities that arise from corporate ESG. And Brazil has done strong advances into this direction by creating a national policy for the payment for ecosystem services or the payment for environmental services. And since we have this law, we got an option for corporate ESG to acquire high quality environmental services produced by rural landholders in Brazil, public or private ones. The national policy for payment for environmental services allows companies to directly approach landholders, and there is a national registry for that. The company can directly approach landholders and have more efficiency on the money it applied to their ESG programs, because it will go directly to the person that is providing these environmental services, and you have a series of environmental services that can be provided to support the series of different impacts that the production and service chains have on the society and the environment. So the national policy for payment for environmental services allows companies to have this broad offer of those environmental services, which will help the company transform, and this will be the subject of our next talks, how the company used the payment for environmental services to change its behavior from an impact behavior, from a negative impactor behavior, to a positive impactor generator. And we're talking about this in the further chapters. Let God's peace and the love that builds be our weapons on our daily struggle for justice. Ed Zanetti, Futuras a Minha Africana.